Well, Facebook unable to enjoy its second quarter earnings beat today. The company staring down an antitrust investigation that follows Wednesday's record-breaking $5 billion settlement with the FTC over privacy violations. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg spoke about this at an employee town hall on Wednesday.
Part of the settlement, we've agreed to pay a $5 billion fine, which is one of the largest in history. But even more importantly, we're going to be making some major changes to the way that we build products and the way that we run this company. I believe that companies should be held accountable on privacy. And this is what accountability looks like. Right? As part of this settlement, we have to pay a major fine, and there are now very clear rules around how we need to operate on this.
All right, Yahoo Finance tech editor Dan Howley joins us now to discuss. Howley, it's amazing the older Mark Zuckerberg gets, how little he changes in terms of his delivery.
Yeah.
It's almost as if he were announcing the world's greatest product with that same sort of cadence. What do you think that the mood is like inside of Facebook right now as they look at, I think what's pretty clearly a new phase, a new future for the company? Because, you know, this committee is, sure, he can stack it with people who are friendly, but ultimately it's a change in how the board is structuring oversight.
Yeah, I think inside Facebook, it's just, I think they're in such a bubble where they think that they legitimately are changing the world. I'm sure there's some people in there who feel quite differently about it. Maybe they're nervous about this oversight committee, but this really isn't going to have much of an impact on the business itself. They're still going to be able to operate exactly how they've been operating. They just have to tell people when they lose their data. That's pretty much what this comes down to. Don't lie when you lose our data, and that's when you get in trouble. So just don't do that, and you're fine.
The ironic thing to me is that, you think regulators and people in Washington are going to be able to figure this company out and keep track of it when the company itself can't even do that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's like trying to regulate. I don't even know what the metaphor is, but you get my point.
Yeah, it's interesting just because, the idea that this $5 billion fine was so big was really heavily pushed by the FTC, and I think that was just their way of saying, look, we didn't get what a lot of people wanted out of them. We didn't get blood from a stone from them, but we did get $5 billion, so I guess that's something.
Well, but then Facebook comes out last night and says there's a separate FTC investigation. That's an antitrust investigation. Then there's also the DOJ matter. And even though Facebook was not named in the DOJ's release, Facebook named themselves in their earnings release last night. So it just feels like the story of this company now is going to be what could happen next, right? With regulation, and it's not just theoretical anymore.
No,
now it's actually happening.
Now it's real. Once that crossed with the FTC investigation official, that was like, oh, okay, so it's on now. And this is, I think, really going to be the start of where you see investigations into these companies, the Facebooks, the Amazons, the Googles, the Apples. And I think for Facebook and Google, it's going to be particularly difficult because they're the companies where you can look at them and say, okay, well, Facebook, you've bought up all these different competitors. You're clearly pushing into your competitor spaces that you don't acquire or that refuse to be acquired and crushing them. Google, you push your own products. You've been fined multiple times by the European Union for similar issues, whereas with Amazon, they're going to run into trouble with what they do with competitors' data or retailers' data that they collect through the service. Apple, I feel like their only issue is going to be the App Store. Do you guys rank your apps higher than you do competing apps in your App Store? And if so, knock it off. And then that would probably be the conduct remedy that they come to. They would still collect all of that money through the App Store, the billions of dollars that they do. It wouldn't have as much of an impact as it would, say, for Facebook if they were told to, do something separately with privacy or something along those lines. So it's going to be interesting.
All right, Yahoo Finance tech editor Dan Howley.
Thank you.